Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today we have some Call of Duty Ghosts and we're going to be doing a review of the Nemesis DLC that came out just this past week. Now this DLC gave us 4 new maps plus 1 Extinction map, and we're not going to be talking about Extinction throughout this video because I don't play Extinction, and yeah, you want to look up some stuff on the new Extinction, you can go do that on someone else's video, but for right now, in this video, we're going to be covering the 4 multiplayer maps that we got with this DLC, those maps being Showtime, Dynasty, Gold Rush, as well as Sub-Zero. Going into this, I was not excited at all for this DLC. In fact, I did not even play the DLC aside from doing the walkthroughs for the first few days of the DLC being out. That's how little interest I had in this DLC, because a lot of the DLCs in Call of Duty Ghosts have been a pretty big disappointment. And this DLC is different. I actually like it. You thought I was going to be mad at it. You thought I was going to be like, oh, it's the worst DLC ever. It's actually pretty freaking good. So let's start talking about the maps. And we're just going to start off here with Showtime, which is, of course, the most popular, the most anticipated map of the Nemesis DLC. So Showtime is a remake of the map Shipment from Call of Duty 4 with a couple, actually a lot of twists. So what they did is they added an entire outside area to it, which completely changes how the map was played versus how it was played with Shipment. Initially, Shipment itself is just all within the confines of the map. It's very close quarters, very face-to-face. But on Showtime here, it's a bit different because after a few seconds, all the doors start to open, and then people are starting to flank you, and a lot of the fighting happens on the outsides of the map. And then they also add some new things to the map, whereas if you do the field order, then you can sometimes get a chem strike out of the care package, or sometimes you can call in random things like a bunch of care packages will drop down to the ground, or you can gas the entire outside of the map, or you can drop down sentry guns that all just demolish the entire enemy team, and it's quite the cluster. In my opinion, this is the only bad map of the DLC. Now, I see a lot of people that say they do like the map, and it's really hard for me to like this map because it's supposed to be Shipment, but it's a changed Shipment, and it's not a good Shipment as compared to the actual Shipment. So because of that, because of my history with Call of Duty 4, my history playing Shipment all the time, I kind of have like a bias towards this map. I don't like it. I wish it was just Shipment, but that's the only real bad map, in my opinion, of this entire DLC. But even then, just like any map in Call of Duty, if you're facing people that are just really bad at the game, then this map can be very, very fun. That's how that's how maps really seem to work, right? Regardless if it's a good map or a bad map, if you're facing bad players, and of course, it can be just ridiculously fun. And Showtime, I found myself even having a little bit of fun on it, just because I was facing some bad players, and they didn't know what they were doing, and I knew Shipment inside and out, and I was having a lot of fun with that for a little bit. But then you face competent players, it's like, oh my goodness, there's just sentry guns and care packages and people flanking me and people up in the windows, and then it gets frustrating. So not a big fan of Showtime. Next up, we have Dynasty, and Dynasty was the map that, going into it, I said it would probably be my least favorite map. Then I did the walkthroughs of the maps, and I was walking through the map, I was like, guys, this map looks atrocious. Look at this. It's nothing but streets and alleys and flanking routes, and it's all green and dark, and I hate it. I was pleasantly surprised with Dynasty. I feel as though Dynasty might actually be my favorite map from the Nemesis DLC. At first, it can kind of seem overwhelming. When you look at the map layout, like you just look at the mini-map, and you look at the map layout of it, and you realize how many different ways there are to get to everywhere, it really kind of scares you at first. You're like, oh wow, there's a lot to learn on this map. This is going to be one of those maps I'm going to play 5 times and still have no real idea of how to transverse it properly. But that's not the case. After one match, after maybe 2 matches, you understand completely how to play this map and where to go. It has a real old school Call of Duty feel to it, in my opinion, whereas you're rarely getting flanked and you rarely see a bad spawn. Usually you're spawned in a safe location, and then you can transverse the map in a proper way to be able to get to where it is you want to go, and you can take out enemies along the way. There's lots of different cool areas of this map. The field order kill streak is actually going to be the Harrier from Modern Warfare 2, but they renamed it, and they also gave it a bit of a change, whereas it doesn't come in like a singular airstrike. It kind of comes in, targets people, then the Harrier itself actually flies in and starts to take people out. So that's a pretty cool field order kill streak. It's definitely awesome when maps add these field order kill streaks. It's one of the things Call of Duty Ghosts did really well that I wish would be in every Call of Duty game going forward. Definitely an awesome idea. But Dynasty, man, one of my favorites. I actually really enjoy this map. It definitely surprised me that this is my favorite one out of the Nemesis DLC. Next up, we have Gold Rush. So Gold Rush is just a beautiful map. I love the way it looks. I love the atmosphere of the map. It has a real Red Dead Redemption feel. It has a real bright, kind of lively feel to it almost. You know, I love the atmosphere that we're playing in when we play on the map Gold Rush. The map itself actually plays pretty well. The majority of the fighting seems, for whatever reason, to always be on top of the map where I'm at in this gameplay, and somehow people just seem to naturally gravitate towards this location. It's great. I think it's great when the map has such good map flow that the majority of the fighting really seems to kind of gravitate towards one area. If the map flows that well and everyone kind of seems to go towards one area, then you've got yourself a freaking good map. I like that. The minecarts, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering about on this map, can be definitely annoying. There's 2 of them that are constantly moving around the entirety of the map. Usually you're going to catch 1 or 2 people maybe in there, but sometimes, like I ended up playing the other night, I ended up facing 3 people that were all in there, and that was obnoxious. And the reason it was obnoxious, because one, it's kind of easy to kill them. You know, you kind of plant, you kind of set yourself up, and you kind of shoot them in their back as they go past you or something like that. You can actually kind of take people out of the minecarts pretty easily. But when there's like 3 or 4 people on the enemy team all in the minecart at once, it's not like it's hard to kill them, but it really slows down the match, which is definitely not a very good thing. I feel as though the novelty of the minecarts is going to wear off for the first week, maybe the first 2 weeks. Everyone's going to be riding around and them going, oh boy, we're on a roller coaster. And I've already seen a lot of people starting to use the minecarts to their advantage, whereas they're setting satcoms in there, or they're setting ammo crates in there, you know. And I'm running sit rep, and then, you know, the minecart goes flying by, and you see like an ammo crate and a satcom both inside there, and you want to destroy them, but you can't because the damn thing's flying away from you, and you don't want to chase after it because you're trying to kill people, or trying to play the objective, or trying to do whatever, and you've got this satcom flying around the map. So that's definitely something a lot of people are starting to do, and it actually kind of works out, because unless one of the people on your team actually jumps inside the minecart, that satcom is actually going to live throughout the entirety of its lifespan, which is like, what, 30 seconds or so? So yeah, that can actually work out rather well. The field order kill streak for this map, I'm not entirely positive what it's called. I've only seen it a handful of times. So basically, it is a pack of wolves that will end up coming out. Like, basically picture a bunch of guard dogs, but they're wolves, and they kind of just come out and they, you know, hunt down the enemy players. And that's pretty cool. Pretty cool field order kill streak. Overall, I do like Gold Rush a whole lot. Last but certainly not least, we have Sub-Zero. So Sub-Zero was a map that I was really interested in going in because it looked kind of like a cool map from the trailer, and I was interested to see what it was like. When I did my map walkthroughs, and I did the walkthrough of Sub-Zero, I looked at the layout of the map, and I thought, this is a good layout for a map. This is kind of an older Call of Duty feel where you're not going to be getting constantly flanked. This is kind of, you know, all the fighting seems to kind of want to go to one area. I like the way the map was laid out. And then when I actually played the maps, I wasn't disappointed. I was not disappointed by this map in the slightest. It's actually very nice to look at, and at the same time, it still plays really well. The majority of the fighting is actually indoors with tons of ways to get inside the building. So you have a lot of people always trying to fight inside the building, and there's actually a bunch of different ways to get in there and use the building to your advantage, which I definitely try to do all the time. When I play this map, I usually run like an IMS and a sentry gun, because with all the fighting really kind of gravitating towards the central building, I like to, like, the main room, like the main control room is why I call it in my head. I'm not sure what it's called. Like, if you place an IMS in there, people are constantly moving around through there. Then they come walking in, then bam, IMS takes them out. Or you try and take a sentry gun to try and watch the entire hallway. It works out really, really, really well. The field order kill streak for this map is actually a snow monster thing. I'm not sure what it is. It comes and eats you, basically, which is actually kind of very annoying to play against. If there's one thing I don't really care that much for on this map, is actually that thing, because I'm not entirely positive you can kill it. I tried to kill it several times, but it just ended up killing me. Basically, the only way to hurt it is basically shoot its like red eyeballs. And but regardless of that, it's actually a pretty fun map. I enjoy playing it, and it's actually a pretty popular map. Like, if you judge like the map rotations, like what people vote for Showtime all the time. They always vote for that map. And then the second most popular map would be Sub-Zero here. The third one would definitely be Gold Rush, and then the fourth one, which never seems to really get the vote, and I'm always trying to like vote for this one, is Dynasty, which Dynasty is my favorite map out of this DLC. But overall, I really think the Nemesis DLC was in fact a good way to end off Call of Duty Ghosts DLC. It was actually pretty freaking good. One quarrel I have with it really is Showtime, because they add the outside area. It changed it so much. I wish they wouldn't have changed it, but they changed it, and a lot of people actually, in fact, do have fun with the map. Don't just take my opinion on it. My opinion is I don't like it because it's not shipment, but the opinion of lots of other people, like the majority opinion, is that Showtime is a pretty fun map and that, you know, you can enjoy it. But if you're someone that's been playing Call of Duty since 2007 like me, and you've played hundreds upon hundreds of games on shipment, then you realize, like, man, why can't it just be enclosed on the indoors like it should be, you know? But it isn't, and there you go. That is your Nemesis DLC. Basically, every map, in my opinion, is really good. Showtime, not so good, but it's fun if you're playing bad players. So either way, that is my review of the Nemesis DLC. If I had to rate the maps my favorite to least favorite, I'm going to go ahead and say Dynasty would be my number 1 map. I'm going to say Gold Rush being number 2, Sub-Zero being number 3, and Showtime being number 4. Those are my rankings, which is definitely way different than my original rankings based upon like what I saw from the trailer when they announced the Nemesis DLC. But what do you guys rank the maps? If you guys have played the maps, or based upon the videos you guys have seen, if you're playing on the PlayStation or if you're on the PC and you don't have this DLC yet, rank for me in the comments what you guys think of the maps based upon what you've seen. And if you are on the Xbox 360 or on the Xbox One, you have played the maps, or maybe if you're on those consoles but just haven't gotten the maps yet, rank the maps whatever you guys think they are based upon what you guys have seen or what you have actually played of them. Let me know about that. Definitely interested to read about that. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.